So this year we did 350 farms that we went on the research, and normally it would take 2 to 3 hours depending on how big our team was. And of course they've seen lots of different weather and all kinds of things. We researched Washington apples and cherries and wheat. We did California, we did almonds and vineyards. What else?
Montana.
Go
So
ahead.
we started on the West Coast, and we did Washington and Oregon, Pacific Northwest. And we kind of worked east, so that started in February, and then we were working Montana in June, and as July was really busy, all of us probably collectively had 3 nights at home in July. And we were working the Midwest, Iowa, Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, and then we just finished up doing a little bit of work in Montana and North Dakota. So. In Colorado, Boulder, Colorado, which was really awesome. Yeah.
And the cool thing about the farms that we researched was, like I said, they were so diverse. When they went to Colorado in Boulder, it was a lot of urban farms. And so, we're researching all kinds of different farms and getting to see, what these farmers are doing. And so you guys want to talk about, each one of you get one thing that we do when we do the testing. So when we come to the farm, we're there for, like I said, 2 to 3 hours, and the farmers are always welcome to be there with us, and some of them have been, and it's so much fun to show them what we're seeing, but also they get to see the tests that we're doing on the farm. So the cost of each time we go to a farm, it costs the Ecdysis Foundation $7,500 to be able to do a farm. And so a lot of the foundation money that we use to take our team to these places, that money is used for that, plus all the lab work that has to be done. Part of the lab work is done right on the Ecdysis on Blue Dasher Farm in the Ecdysis lab. And a lot of these members of the team are the lab workers also. So they actually get to see start to finish. They get to collect, and then you get to go back to the lab and sort through all the different specimens. But go ahead. You're first, Kelly.
No, I'm doing quant. One of the things we test for is insect population. So one of the methods we do is we get a big metal square and we go at the middle of one of our transects and we sit there for, depending if there's one of us, we do it for 15 minutes. If there's 2 of us, we do it for 7.5 minutes. And we have these aspirators with a tube at the end of it, and we basically suck up bugs for 7.5 or 15 minutes. We put them in a vial, and then we take them back to the lab and we count and identify what kind of bugs we have.
Hi, I'm Liv. The other thing we do with bugs is called sweeps. So we put on 4 transects in a given, whether it be a rangeland or a crop field or whatever it is, and we'll walk along each transect and we'll take a giant, imagine butterfly net made out of cloth, and we'll swipe it across the top of the crop, and we'll collect that, put that in the bag, and we'll take that back into the lab as well, and we'll see what kind of insect populations we have on the crop.
Hi, I'm Tia. We have another position that's sort of just like floater. You just kind of go around, clean up, do whatever. We'll do like temperature and humidity measurements at 3 points along each transect. So we have 4 transects per field. We also do something called bulk density, where you take just a unit measurement of the soil and then you weigh it, and it's just kind of telling you compaction. So we do that 4 times for every farm we visit.
Probably the thing that takes the most time is getting deep cores of the soil. So we have these soil probes that are 3 feet long, 60 inches, 2 feet long, 60 centimeters long, and so we take a sledgehammer and we pound them down into the soil, and we'll get a whole bunch of different measurements so we can test soil that goes down to 60 centimeters, and then we can also test the top 5 and 10, 15 centimeters of the soil, and then we ship that out to a lab that can test it for nutrients and kind of the microbiome that's in the soil there.
Hi, I'm Cooper, and another one we do is plate meter, so basically see the plant biomass that's on the ground there. And so what it is, we have a plate and then a big rod, and basically walk along the transect and then drop this plate down and measure how much biomass is out there on the field, and then we collect that to do like nutrient analysis and all that. So yeah.
Hey, I'm Will. I wasn't told what to talk about. So I'm just gonna say that one important thing that we do is when we gather these insect communities, I think a big portion of why our job's important is that we're looking at the entire community of insects, like everything that's there. You know, all the time John says that people go out and they're an expert in X insect or whatever it is, and they, you know, show how well or how pitiful or whatever this one insect is doing. But we're gathering everything, so you can generate this like amazing picture of what's going on in the soil. And when you do it around the entire country, that's pretty profound to see what direction we're heading in, whether that's good or bad. Yeah.
And another thing we do is water infill, and a lot of you are probably pretty familiar with this. We just take a NRCS kit, there's a tube, and our process simulates a 2-inch rainfall event. We do 440 milliliters on 2 rounds. The first is just to see if the soil will take water, and the second is to see if it will retain more water. And then with that, we also do a water infiltrometer, which basically just measures the surface tension in the soil. And that's a pretty new technology, so we're pretty psyched to analyze the data and see if there's any cool trends with that.
Another thing we're doing that kind of involves over to the plants are we're talking to these farmers now to try to get a yield analysis on what these yields are in specific fields, comparing if it's like regenerative or conventional, and then also running those samples for a nutrient analysis as well. So that's kind of what we're working on now. Just kind of meeting on Friday, or not Friday, was it yesterday? 2 days ago? I don't know. And so we're just kind of going about that now, and that's kind of our main issue now.
So the key to the whole study is to not only show, you know, what's out there to the farmer, because all of this data goes to the farmer. He gets his data back, right? And what all we use it for is just for a comparison between the different farms. And then that's the goal, is then to go back into that community and be able to show those people what our findings were. And they've done it so far. You did it in California, they did it for the almond grove people, and then you guys just did a field day. Was that in Colorado? In Colorado, they did a field day also. So it's not just all of the entomology part, meaning all the insects, but he's also showing that there is an economic benefit to the farmer and also to those communities. So how important it is, you know, for these regenerative changes.
And the workshop you did in California, there was 350 people showed up. Congressional offices, media, it was unbelievable. The attendees that came for that.
So there was a job we didn't talk about. Obviously, we're in these fields for 1.5 to 3 hours. And you can imagine we talk about anything, everything under the sun. And one big job is comic relief. And so usually every field somebody will play music or provide some jokes for everybody. And that's kind of like a job that not everybody talks about when out in the field. So it's something pretty important that we all do.
Jay's really good at it.
It's pretty
I like to
good.
think
Your
I'm good at
hypothetical
it.
question.
Oh yeah, my name is Jay.